Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy to welcome you today to our event from emergency measures to systematic preparedness. And this event has been organized together with Ukraine to Power. Our goal was to bring together different views and perspectives from different sides. And also we wanted to take a closer look at how the situation has evolved over the past 3 years and what we have learned. And this event is a joint effort from the German platform of the reconstruction of Ukraine and Ukraine to Power. And I'm delighted to introduce Natalia Fiebrich, the head of the organization, who will be moderating today's session. Natalia, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Marta. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's event on winter help for Ukrainian communities. My name is Natalia Fibrik, and I'm a co-founder and director of the Ukrainian nonprofit organization Ukraine to Power. And our organization is actually a direct response to Russia's heavy attacks on Ukrainian energy infrastructure. Just very short, like technical moment to you, Marta. Our speaker, Harchenko, somehow cannot join. Maybe you can just write him, and we will solve this technical issue.
I see that Alexander Harchenko is now with us. That's why everything
very
good.
nice. Good, then we are complete. So yeah, as you said, since the autumn and winter of 2022-2023, Russia has carried out large-scale area attacks targeting energy infrastructure in Ukraine. There are huge losses in Ukrainian generation capacity, and the biggest European nuclear power plant is occupied by Russia, and it's also a big nuclear threat. Not only to Ukraine, but also to Europe. Rolling power outages were common across the country, and now we experience power outages again, especially in the north and east of the country. And there has been a huge help from international donor organizations and also smaller organizations and private initiatives. I would say it's also been a miracle of Ukrainian energy workers and Ukrainian engineers that didn't let Ukraine to sink into the complete blackout. But actually, as you said, Marta, now we are in the fourth year after Russian full-scale invasion, and important topic is how to move to strategic and sustainable solutions for communities. We at Ukraine to Power, for example, we stepped from delivering energy equipment to Ukraine to building solar power plants and delivering and installing energy storages for Ukrainian schools. And the idea behind it is that we actually want this help not only for next winter, but for next 10, 15, 20 winters ahead. And how to achieve it, how to help more sustainably. That's important to discuss today. So I'm happy that we have our speakers today. Mr. Gregor Bromling, head of GEZ project promotion of energy efficiency and implementation of the EU Energy Efficiency Directive. Also, Mr. Alexander Kodola, mayor of Nizhyn, the city in the north of Ukraine, that's suffering under very harsh attacks, actually right now and in the last night as well. We have also Dmytro Sokolyuk, expert from the Ukrainian organization Eco-Klub Rivne, and Alexander Harchenko with us, the director of the Center for Energy Studies. Thank you for joining us. And a short note about the organization of our event today. So we will have approximately 1 hour. We have to stop at 3:15. We will begin with inputs of our speakers, and then we will have a Q&A session. So I really encourage our participants to raise your questions, to write them in a chat. Also, you can raise a hand, and please note that we will go to your questions after all the inputs. And I would begin with Alexander Kodola, the mayor of Nizhyn. Another night of attacks on Ukrainian infrastructure in your city, Mr. Kodola. Russian Shahed drones stuck energy and railway facilities. So please, could you describe from first hand what is the situation in your city right now, including the frequency of power outages, and what is the impact on daily life in your community? Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Kodola. Can you see our speaker?
Not yet.
Not yet, yeah. Maybe it was something with the connection again. Okay. Now I see that Alexander Kodola somehow, I just write him that somehow it was Alexander Kodola, not Alexander Harchenko, who couldn't actually join us. So then I would suggest that we go to Mr. Bromling. And also to the contributions that we start with that, because it was a huge contribution actually from Germany. Germany is a major donor to Ukraine's energy infrastructure system still also. So maybe you could evaluate on this aid, and maybe somehow have you like adapted this aid over the last years? Thank you.
Yes, thank you, and good afternoon to everyone, and thank you, Natalia, for giving me the chance to be here part of today's discussion. Colleagues from GIZ, could you please then also include the presentation? Yes, thank you. As an implementing organization on behalf of the German government, GIZ supports the supply of power and heat for the people in Ukraine. And GIZ is doing this basically in the technical cooperation with Ukraine already since more than 30 years. And now, of course, since the intensified attacks since the full-scale invasion started, with a more dedicated focus on energy and climate, and especially, of course, on energy security. Please, for the next slide. We will hear probably then soon from the mayor of Nizhyn, from the local ground, how the situation is currently in Ukraine, but also in other parts, not only in Nizhyn, but also in other parts of the country. The heat and energy supply infrastructure has been heavily attacked over the last years, but also over the last months, despite the fact that there was this energy ceasefire announced in March 2025, but it hasn't had a real impact. And what is also now visible, that not only energy production facilities are under attack, but also more and more energy supply chains. So it means that distribution networks, but also substations for power, as well as for natural gas compressor stations, are under attack. And those supply chains are then also heavily targeted. Talking shortly about the entire picture, what GIZ is doing in key activities. We are giving support to maintain the energy and heat supplies by delivering energy goods, repairing them, rebuilding them, and also modernizing them, because the infrastructure is, despite the attacks, also quite often rather outdated. We do coordination of donation campaigns. I will talk later a bit about that. So to provide donations from German or European countries and companies to Ukraine and make the matchmaking. We are supporting energy supply of critical infrastructure, such as hospital or water and waste companies, or also district heating. Also, we work on key drivers for the EU accession nonetheless, so empowering especially municipalities to ensure their energy supply in a sustainable manner, building new workforce, skilled workforces by training them and also do capacity development, because also the lack of workforce is a big challenge. Providing strategic advice and implementing measures to enhance energy efficiency, also on national level, by adapting, for example, EU regulations. And this all is basically then also not only serving the expansion of renewable energies and energy efficiencies, but also supporting the EU accession. Next slide, please. Here you see from the FAIR project I'm representing here, a map where we are working on. You see that we are basically ensuring a rather big part of the countries. We have more than 50 partner cities. Of course, a few of them are unfortunately under occupation or are close to the front line, where we could not have an active cooperation any longer. But however, we are working with good number of municipalities on their sustainable local energy security. And we do this on behalf of the BMZ, the German Federal Ministry of Economy, Cooperation and Development, as well as on the Swiss SECO, who gives us co-financing to do so. With the war, it became also clear that next to energy efficiency, that also the energy supply basically is a big topic. And while our project started before the full-scale invasion, the initial concept was more focused on energy efficiency on the municipal sector, but then we were also, with the help of the two commissioners, able to serve the energy supply through renewable energies in particular, meaning especially PV solar, rooftop for hospitals, for kindergartens, or other social infrastructure. And on that end, we were able in both ways to, on one hand, address the topic of energy efficiency, and on the other end, also to make tangible progress on renewable energy, which both lead then to local energy security. Please, next slide. The particular support for the municipalities on a strategic manner is we have supported more than 30 municipalities developing and implementing municipal energy management systems, among them also the city of Nijin. We will hear later from the mayor, as well as also local energy plans. And then also had the chance to make small contribution together with the partner cities to make and realize energy efficiency of public buildings. So we have had then over 40 of them. I will talk in a bit about that. Demo projects, which also gives cities then the chance to make something concrete happen on the ground and learn on that. This strategic approach also basically was a good starting point within the last year, when we have had the chance. The BMZ was providing as traditional assistance to Ukraine another 60 million. And it was then implemented by the project Strengthen Urban Resilience in Utility Infrastructure and Housing, but in cooperation with the FAIR project. And we were able basically to support our partner cities based on their solid groundwork, by having already established an municipal energy management system and also municipal energy plan to really targeted and tailor-made find solutions. What do they need after they have received or experienced some damages or some destruction of the energy supply system on the ground? There were then in the end over 175 units of power and heat supply. It was on one hand combined heat and power plants, but also modular boiler houses, PV hybrid generators, and so on, battery systems to keep district heating pumps running, and so on and so forth. But with the solid base on municipal energy management planning, we were able to really make a quick, tailor-made solution. Next slide, please. Here, yeah, as I very earlier said, we have supported over 40 municipal energy and renewable energy measures. Among them, also 13 hospitals, where we either were able to support thermal modernization to really decrease heavily the energy demand of heating, or where we were able to then support solar solutions with battery solutions to ensure not only energy supply in blackout times, but also to have then in the, let's say, normal building operations a good benefit and cost reduction of hospitals, so that also their operational costs are reduced. Overall, in those hospitals alone, more than 70,000 people benefit directly from those improvements. As already earlier mentioned, a big other problem we had to see is that skilled workers are lacking due to war, due to general, let's say, lack of skilled workers in this sphere, and all the support we are providing, of course, needs skilled workers to implement. Doesn't matter on which kind of level, let it be in the city administration, but also, of course, human workers, but also any kind of engineers, architects, and so on. With our project, we were able to also focus on that and train professionals in the field of energy. Overall, more than 11,000 people have been trained in that. And yeah, we already see that this is also like a big support for the reconstruction of the country now, but also, of course, in future. And then maybe we go for the next slide already. Was mentioning earlier that next to the BMZ support, there's also huge support by other German ministries, as for example, the BMWE. There, for example, there is a donation campaign as a part of the German-Ukrainian Energy Partnership. So that's basically where GIZ coordinates donated goods from Germany, European countries, and makes the matchmaking, the logistics support, that those kind of donations then also are going to the right place in Ukraine. There's also a website I can share later with the presentation where you can find, if you are from a company or in general want to donate energy goods, that where the Energy Partnership is basically publishing what kind of systems, technologies are required, but also otherwise, of course, you can reach out to the colleagues. I will also share the information on their email address that basically can be reached out if you have bigger amounts to donate. As for example, recently there were 4,000 solar panels donated overall with a capacity of almost 1 megawatt peak. And this, of course, can also then in certain settings, let it be water supply, water waste treatment, or district heating systems, critical infrastructure be used to secure not only the energy supply in blackouts, but also to reduce energy costs while the normal operation. Next slide. I think that's already the parts of the team, I have to say. I mean, as said, there's a big team working on supporting Ukraine and a lot of projects. But here you may find the most relevant for this topic of energy security. You may reach out to any one of them. Especially, I want to highlight the donation campaign, Karin Franzen, which can be addressed with anything you would like to donate. Other than that, with municipalities, for example, you can, of course, also reach out to me or to any other colleague. Happy to share later on a bit more while we are having discussion or you have questions to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Gregor, for your input, and we will come back to you during Q&A session. And now I think we have Alexander Kodola with us. Alexander, thank you for joining us. And actually, I wasn't sure that you would be able to be with us today after such attacks on your city again. And please tell us from the first hand, what is the situation in the city right now? What are the damages, and what support do you actually need for the upcoming winter?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. We are having communication problems. I just returned from the place of the shelling. the air raid alert has been going on since yesterday evening. The sounds of drones and the work of air defense can be heard on our streets right now. But first of all, I would like to thank for our colleagues, for our friends of Ukraine, for your incredible understanding and willingness to help. Your solidarity gives us strength and hope. It reminds us that even in these dark and difficult times, we are not alone. It has now been almost 4 years since the beginning of Russia's full-scale invasion. This year, Chernihiv region became the first in Ukraine to live under a strict power outage schedule, caused by massive Russian attacks on the energy system. Nizhyn, like many Ukrainian cities, is under constant drone and missile strikes. Every day, unfortunately, our infrastructure, including critical energy facilities, suffers new damage. This makes daily life extremely difficult for our residents. Just last week, our city experienced a complete blackout. Thanks to the tireless work of our local services, we managed to partially stabilize the situation. However, we must continue using energy very economically to maintain even minimal stability. Because of this, children, the future of our country, are forced to study online. Frequent power outages often interrupt their lesson. Kindergartens remain closed as shelters are not equipped with the backup power to ensure comfortable conditions for the youngest children. Next slide, please. This is short information about our city. Nizhyn is the second biggest city in our Chernihiv region. The population of our city more than 70,000 people. But unfortunately, we are not happy because we have two neighbors, Russia and Belarus. Despite these challenges, we continue to prepare for winter. We are repairing heating networks, maintaining boiler houses, forming full reserves, and checking backup systems. Hospitals, schools, and shelters remain our top priority because their stable operation can literally save lives. We also had a dedicated energy management unit. In 2025, the community's energy plan was developed and approved in our community. And a strong team is now implementing energy projects across critical and social infrastructure. The next slide, please. Okay, and the next one. Some words about our international support and partnerships. Nizhyn has two sister cities in Germany. This is Neustadt in Holstein and Wolfsburg. So we receive support from different countries and international organizations. From our German partners, we have received portable energy storage from our sister city Neustadt in Holstein. Wolfsburg supported assistance, solar lighting equipment, plus direct deliveries from Wolfsburg of solar-powered street lamps and battery-powered tool seats. Also solar power stations for critical and social infrastructure from GIZ financing. The next slide, please. All this support is working, but unfortunately, it is still not enough given the scale of destruction we face. Next slide, please. What was most crucial? The most critical assistance came in the form of generators and portable energy storage systems. They allowed hospitals to continue surgeries during blackouts, schools to operate, and boiler houses to provide heating. However, even maintaining ordinary diesel generators today is becoming a serious challenge. To power essential infrastructure for just one day, we need around 20 tons of fuel, which costs approximately 25,000 euros. These expenses are enormous for the local budget of our city, especially under constant attacks and logistical disruptions. And the more important for us, current needs and priorities. Please, the next slide. And the next slide, please. Our current needs and priorities. As you can see on the screen, we have prepared a detailed list of our current needs and proposed technical solutions. These are shown in the presentation while I am speaking. During the first wartime winter in 2022-2023, we fought simply to survive using whatever equipment was available. Today, our approach is more structured and focused on long-term stability. We urgently need high-capacity generators from 100 to 250 kilowatt to maintain critical infrastructure. Cogeneration systems for combined heat and power production to increase efficiency, reduce CO2 emissions, and strengthen energy independence. Modern energy storage systems to ensure the operation of hospitals, boilers, houses, and systems of water supply and wastewater treatment during blackouts. Yet again, I want to emphasize Nizhyn remains a resilient city, but our resources are limited and our infrastructure suffers daily from Russian attacks. Without continued international support, this winter will again be an enormous challenge. With your help, we can protect thousands of lives, keep hospitals and schools open, and preserve the dignity of our people. We are deeply grateful to all our partners, especially our German friends, whose timely and sincere support has already proven decisive. Together, we will not only endure this winter, but also move closer to Ukrainian long-term energy independence. Thank you sincerely for your attention, understanding, and unwavering solidarity with Ukraine and with all Ukrainians. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alexander. And if possible, maybe stay with us also for questions. We will have them later. And also, I thank you. I have received also your letter, your official request with your request for help. It's like really a lot of inverters and battery storages, energy storages, and other energy equipment. So we will really try to find a possibility and also to join forces, maybe also with other organizations, with other participants who are with us today to help your city and to help your people to overcome also this winter, but actually not only winter, because I remember very well, like 2 years ago, summer in Kyiv, it was impossible to walk down the street because of the sound of generators. It was so loud, and exactly as you said, the electricity from generator is very expensive. So it's like really not a sustainable solution. So I really hope we could help you to get more sustainable solutions. But let's go further to Alexander Harchenko from Center for Energy Studies and Research. And Alexander, you are actually one of the leading experts in Ukraine. And right now I'm seeing you in all of Ukrainian media explaining what to expect this winter and whether there will be broader power outages and what the overlook and what your prognosis is. And of course, it's you heard this question like maybe a lot in the recent days, but once again for us, What is your forecast for the coming winter? In what general situations the energy system on Ukraine is right now? And I would also include the question from the chat, because talking about generators and other equipment, we know that in the first winter, like really crisis winter, there were almost no equipment to buy in Ukraine because it was like taken. What is like the possibilities right now on the market?
It's a lot of questions. I will try to start with something general. Ukrainian energy system this year is better ready to all this attack and heating season in general than 1 year ago. And of course, better than 2 years ago. It doesn't mean that nothing happened. And we can see right now very clearly that Russian strategy is to create a kind of kill zone around 130 kilometer wide around the Ukrainian border with Russia and Belarus, as well as around front line. And in last 2 months, it's happened like a huge amount of attack in this zone, which is oriented to destroy, first of all, power distribution system, including substation 110 kilovolts, 35 kilovolts, and all the remains, as well as heating system, and if it is available to attack some gas distribution objects. Is it dangerous? Yes, it's dangerous. They already feel that on national level, they are not very successful with attack to high voltage power grid and even to big generation objects, and they concentrated on this regional stuff. It's really quite bad development for many regions, and especially in situations when many of them is not ready enough for this kind of attack. And on regional level, it's not so many high voltage substation has a fortification or solid defense. And as well as, of course, it's not enough air defense to defend each and every 110 or 35 kilovolt substation in all regions, because it's like thousands and thousands of objects. But what can be done and what can be supported, in my perception, by a different way to create energy resiliency in different regions? And I'm really, I really have very good opinion about request from Alexander, what he said he need, because it's absolutely fit to my understanding, and my understanding is formed on learning a lot of experience in different regions which is under attack, like Mykolaiv, Kherson regions, as well as Zaporizhia, Donetsk, Kharkivska regions, whereas attacks is like a usual deal. It's nothing special. Every day happen. No one surprised. That your energy resiliency, it's a cabbage. And in this cabbage, the closest to people line, it's public buildings. And public buildings can be great support for community in each and every case, but only if this public building has own battery system, which will help to be operational in time of outage, both for school and hospitals. And as well, it will be very good to have not just battery system itself, but as well some PV panels and just reserved generators capacity. Mm-hmm. And generators is really very expensive and very complicated in many cases to manage. Like example, in many schools don't have a lot of men in like teachers or support staff. And for women, sometimes it's very complicated to service generator, to move it in and out and to refuel it, even if fuel is available, but fuel is very expensive as well. That request number one, it's a battery storage for public building. it creates a very good opportunity for community to use this public building as we name it like a safety point or point of power for everyone who needs for energy in this case. Third level of this cabbage is for sure is critical infrastructure. It means water channel, it means boiler station. All of them need electricity. And the best solution for all these objects is the gas-fired cogeneration, like gas pistons engines from 1 to 10 megawatts capacity, which can work on gas and can use diesel or something like diesel as a double fuel. Because in some regions we already have situation when natural gas was unavailable because of different kind of attack. That if from this second level defense we have a backup backup power for key pumps in water channel, key pumps in sewage system, as well for boilers and pumps in heating system, it means that city already on safe side. And even in case of regional blackout, all critical infrastructure will be functioning. That water will be still here, sewage will work, and heating will be operational. It will already make a warranty that city is alive. Because if something happened with heating in like -10, -20 Celsius for a long time, it's a really disaster, technological disaster. And next level of potential energy resiliency, it's a bigger generation capacity in some Gramada level. It means that it's possible to install in city like Nizhyn, I think 20, 40, 60 megawatt capacity gas-fired generation. And plan together with a regional distribution company some islanding mode for situation when city in general is out of national grid because of attack to substation or because of any other reason. And in this case, this capacity can work in islanding mode and cover at minimum some supply for multi-apartment buildings, for public buildings, and to make people's life much more better, because if you have electricity even 4 hours after 10 hours, it's better than you have it like for 20 hours or 2 days. And in this case, Gramada will be much more safe because they will have a reserve capacity, backup generation, which will help them to operate in very efficient way inside the silent mode. If something really critical happens, what we see happened like every 2 days in one of Ukrainian cities. Shostka, Nizhyn, others, Slavutich. In last months, we had this kind of outage in many cities. That's what like a very short recommendation which we develop on basic of learning from many Ukrainian regions, and many Ukrainian cities already have this experience of outages, how it can be framed, and if someone will need more detailed level of explanation or some support how to create this and what can be elements in this system, we are absolutely open to help. And please contact, it will be never rejected.
Thank you, Alexander. And maybe very short also from your side, because you know the market very well. Is it possible to buy this equipment in Ukraine right now on the market, like generators or energy storage systems?
Energy storage is available for sure, and Ukraine has some battery storage stock on at the moment. And I could say that like 20 kilowatt inverters plus 40 kilowatt hours battery storage for school, which is absolutely enough for 5-6 hours operation for average shelter in school. cost in Ukraine now 25,000 euro or something around. That it's absolutely available. It's still here, and I think we have quite enough reserve for few months to buy something and install something in very fast manner. For gas-fired gas pistons engines, it's 3-4 months for supply. It's available from Europe, like from Czech, from Slovaks, from some others, Austria. That it's quite a lot of production in Europe, which is available in horizon 3, 4, 6 months. That's I think it's enough fast track for any energy project, and anyway, we will need it in the next few years for in each and every armadas for sure.
Yeah, thank you very much. We will come back to that also, because what is also important, what Alexander Kodola said, that they already have a energy municipality plan. They developed it. They have also energy management, and it's of course important. And so, it's also a problem actually for a lot of other communities. They don't have a workforce for that. They don't really have a team who can develop such plans and also such documents. In order to try to find money, to find funding for their projects. So we have to understand it as well. And actually, who is also helping with this feasibility studies also for solar power plant is our next speaker, is Dmytro Sokolyuk from Eco Club Rivne. Eco Club Rivne is, I think, the oldest organization fighting climate change in Ukraine. Tell me, Dmytro, if I'm wrong, but I think I'm not. And actually, your organization started with advocacy and policies, but after the full-scale invasion of Russia, you finished and installed already, like, I don't know, over 60 power plants for Ukrainian hospitals and water utilities. And I know that you are actually all the time, you are on the road, you are traveling across Ukraine, you work directly with communities. So what are the needs for communities now? And what is the best way to help them to achieve energy security and efficiency? And what are maybe the mistakes that we should avoid?
First of all, hello to everyone, and very hard to add something new after the best speaker what we have before me. Yes, we are one of the oldest organization NGO in Ukraine, and when in 2022 start to help communities to be more energy efficiency and energy resilient. We have finished more than 80 projects for now in solar power station, and start this process in 2020 before the war. We have first our project in Voznesensk, Mykolaiv region in water utility, and finished project in 2020. In 2022, in May, I stay with my colleague in office when some situation on front line, little bit stabilization in 2022 May, and thinking why they don't bomb and attack our infrastructure, first of all electricity, but not only, and decided to help communities with solar power plants in critical infrastructure, first of all hospitals and water utility, because in our mind it's the best solution what we can help. For understanding, we really a small local organization with not big budget, and we helps only 80 communities and the 80 objects. But we work with many communities in any part of Ukraine, Mykolaiv, Kharkiv region, Nizhyn, for example, and western part of Ukraine is usually it's Uzhhorod, Lviv, and other. And 90% of our solar power station we are finished at hospital and water utility. Come back to your question. First of all, now energy attacked infrastructure, it's everyday happened, and it's really we never planning for the long period something. We as usually to mass thinking today for the next day and planning to project maybe not than more 1 year. Second, we are learning, Ukrainian learning, and I very good remember 2022 autumn when all community, every object from small villages school to big some oblast hospital for many peoples want to have generator. And in 2023, if I don't mistake in statistic, we provided in Ukraine more than 1 million generator for in Ukraine. But now it's changed, and many communities, many objects want to have some more stability and more cheaper electricity, because as usual in Ukraine, 1 kilowatt hour from generator cost near €1, but prices from grid it's near 0.25 euro, and if we provided electricity from solar power plants, it's 4 times cheaper, like a grid. And we must to collect money for our defense for many reasons, and many communities want to be with solar station because it's a cheaper, first of all, not first of all, at the second. First of all, because it's independent of a few hours for energy. If you have some accumulation, you can provide it electricity depend without any problem for a few hours. Yes, it's not for all period. Yes, it's not work for weeks or months, but every day you have few hours with electricity. And as usual, for example, for hospitals, it's enough to operation system, if it's enough to maternity or something like that. And we do many mistakes, but and Eco Club do many mistakes when we provided solar station, first of all, but not only heat pump too, because, for example, our first solar station, maybe first 10, we are provided without accumulation, but because we're thinking about something, another issues, we first of all calculate money. Because we have very small budget. But from another side, on another hand, we must understand we never was a situation what we have now. We never have a war, and not understanding in which way we must do something in this exactly situation. Now we are learning, and learning by doing as usual, because we don't have another possibility. My idea, it's very deeply with Alexander Harchin what said. I see the same, and Alexander Kondola said the same. They needed inverters, they needed accumulation, and they needed gas supply, cogeneration, first of all, for provided heating and electricity. I stop here, and maybe Natalia, you can ask me something more, what's needed and what's the interesting.
Yes, actually, I'd like to, because talking about solar power plants, we heard right now from Alexander Harchenko that the most regions in need or at risk are regions not far from front line. So actually 100 kilometer. How smart is this to go there actually with solar solutions? If we have when attacks are so usual there actually, is it actually a good solution with these PV models? And maybe Alexander, one or another, would like to add something on that.
I start to answer and pass the floor for any of Alexander. In my mind, yes, it's a very good solution, because destroyed one substation, it's very not easy, but it's a big substation for many thousands of people. But destroyed thousands of solar power stations who exactly situated or finished construction in objects, for example, hospital, water supply utility, many points, many lands or roof. It's more hard because you needed more drones, more rockets and other. And they, in my mind, too hard to destroy 1,000 solar power plants, like destroy it only one substation. For now, we don't have many attacks for solar power plants, only few in Ukraine, in western part or central part of Ukraine, something more in near the front line or near the border. But as usual, they destroy the big station more than 1 megawatts. But if you speak about the water utility, not the oblast region, it's about like more smaller one cities and villages in Ukraine. We don't speak about 1 megawatts. As usual, it's near 100 kilowatts for one object. It's a not big one, and accumulation situated somewhere in this object, and destroy this station, it's harder. But maybe Alexander Kodola or Harchenko have another vision or ideas. I don't know.
If you want to say something.
I just very short comment. My idea is very simple. For security, number one is battery storage in public building, and then use top roof for solar as much as possible. You have 200 kilowatt to install, okay. You have 100, do it. You have 50 kilowatt, do it. Just use the free space of top roof to support generation for this object. And as much as possible. Usually it's in between 150 and 250 kilowatt in roof.
I'm sorry, but this is in Ukraine. The problem is a bureaucracy, because we have some rules from our transport electricity company, and we can provide that electricity come back in the grid. Only you need some special documentation in agreement. And as usual, the better not install as much as possible. As usual, the better to install solar power panels capacity near your every hour consumption. It's a more efficiency for money, first of all.
Dmitro, I agree with you, but in my experience, all schools and hospitals' kitchen use electricity, and their peak consumption usually near 150 to 200 kilowatt. With all equipment they need. That's why I say as much as possible, because really it's very similar to their peak consumption. Usually in my practice, I have like 15, 20 projects in this field, and in all cases it was very similar. But you're right, absolutely.
I think it's a technical discussion. We can have some small meeting somewhere independent and put each other some ideas, because not easy to take everyone. First of all, it's very important to start from every object to learning information about the object, because many object and many solutions.
Mm-hmm. What is also interesting, what I would like to ask, and also you, Alexander Kodola, because I saw you, I need of a lot of inverters and a lot of battery storages. I know there are pretty a lot solar power plants in Ukraine right now, but without battery storage. So just PV models, and of course they cannot help during power outage. Do you have such situation in your city? And maybe is it good to try to install additionally batteries to these panels in order to use the electricity when the need is there?
Yes, there are 5 solar stations in Nizhyn now, but only one will hybrid system with accumulators. and this one we built together with Dmytro Sokolyuk and his organization. Thank you very much. But
I think we have issues with connection again.
But for now, it's a typical situation in this region. They don't have any sustainable internet and electricity.
But it shows, of course, that it's not only the problem with electricity, it's communication, it's heat supply, it's water supply. It's, of course, a big problem. But maybe because I don't see any other questions in the chat or some hand raised. If somebody want to ask something, please do. Otherwise, I have another question to our speakers and also to you, Gregor, because actually all of our speakers, they deal with also with international other international organizations and donors, and sometimes like people, foreigners have or imagine like the reality in Ukraine may be different as it is. So it's important to understand maybe or to point what mistakes should we avoid? Like what are the don'ts that not to do? For example, is it a good idea now to buy and to deliver like smaller generators? Or for example, this kind of burzhuykas, the stoves, yes, that you just like can heat and have some heating. Is it a good idea? Or for example, cash help for Ukrainian population to buy, I don't know, some like pellets or something. So what would you say like better not to do if you want to help Ukrainians during this winter? Maybe somebody want to start. Alexander Harchenko, I saw you were like reacting somehow on my words.
No, I have quite experience with many different international partners, and for all donors, my first advice is forget about your experience in Africa. It's another country. And in many cases, we really need absolutely different stuff that many donors thinks as usual deal, including like give cash money, including us to send something like blankets or very primitive stuff for different directions. Ukraine, it's about technology. Ukraine, it's about system solution. And battery storage, photovoltaic, gas-fired generation, that's the answer. We don't need regular for many donors activities, and I'm trying to explain it each and every time that, guys, first of all, ask what you requested for, and in many cases from Ukrainian side you will have very clear answer what and for what.
Alexander, actually, I would say not always and not really, because sometimes when the situation is very critical in some city or somewhere, what we hear is like, give us what you have, something, we will take like everything. And I think it's also important for like for the other side to understand and to match this needs with like with the possible help that they can provide. I think, Gregor, you would like to comment on that as well.
Yeah, yes, thank you very much. I mean, you were, for example, bringing up the example with pellet boiler heating system, for example. That may make sense that if it's needed and requested and let's say embedded by conceptual work. Why not? But then also make sure and request if the supply chain afterwards are pellets on the market available. The same goes for anything with gas or with diesel and so on and so forth. So just want to say, like, it's not only to donate or help or procure as an international donor or a donation company, but also then make sure that the usage on the ground is possible. And it's not only about supply chain. I also would say it's about what you mentioned, the bureaucratic steps. Yeah, I mean, having some equipment on the ground is not automatically given that the equipment is also producing the requested energy, because it still has to be installed. It still has to be undergone certain, let's say, commissioning and approval steps from local administration and so on and so forth. It takes time, first of all, and also well-prepared cities, well-prepared partners, and a team effort, I would like to say. So it's not, let's say, just the procurement and the delivery. By far not. It also needs them to go ahead to really make impact. And don't underestimate the time for that and the efforts.
Mm-hmm. That's actually the good point about well-prepared cities and like well-prepared teams. How can we help like to prepare or to empower? I would say to empower communities to get their plans, to understand their consumption, to understand what they really need, what really will help, and also to implement these projects, because like sometimes it's I'm sorry just for interrupting, but I got a message from Alexandra Kodola right now. They have power outage. That's why he has no connection and he cannot come back to our conversation. But yeah, so for example, so how can we help communities to understand what they actually like really need, and to implement these projects, to make this help actually like make an impact? Maybe if somebody wanna start, just make a. Yeah, Gregor, please.
I can start. As said also earlier, ideally, municipalities have worked already on certain issues, as establishing an energy management system, as having a municipal energy plan, and so on and so forth. That makes a total difference. But of course, you will not develop it overnight. And maybe even for that, you need certain expertise and financial support, because especially small municipalities don't have the chance to do it maybe by themselves. We, with our project, were glad to support over 40 municipalities with the municipal energy management system, and 20 with the municipal energy planning. We will continue most likely. We are already now preparing together with our commissioning party, the BMZ, to also go ahead with those kind of initiative with a follow-up project in the next year, to bring even more municipalities to that step, because as said, this gives them the opportunity to also then clearly indicate what they need, also in a systematic and sustainable manner, and not just to replace something which is basically destroyed or damaged or whatsoever, but it has an also much more embedded strategic conceptual impact. So I think this is important to understand, but yes, it doesn't help in that very moment when something is damaged, because as said, the planning or management system is not established overnight. But still, I would then recommend to, of course, provide support and help, but also then clearly, encourage to then embed it further in any kind of conceptual energy planning and concepts.
If I may, I just want to comment that I more than agree with general approach in this case. And of course, nothing can be done without proper preparation. And when people ask me what we have, what we can do for this winter, no, nothing for this winter. For next winter, maybe something. And for next winter, really serious preparation can be done. You will never in September, October, provide something for this winter. It's not possible. Next winter or next winter, that must be a planning way for proper preparation and for proper support.
Thank you, Alexander, and I see that Metro agrees with you.
Yeah, I agree, and maybe add one comment. It's about the better preparation. In my experience, very well work the pilot project, but not to provide it everything to a community. Takes the proposal to work together, and when you do the pilot project, they learning by doing, and they can repeat in a next point or next project or next strategic view the ideas what they see and do in the previous. And as usual, we included in many process to prepare everything to pre-feasibility study, to visibility study, to prepare project and design estimation documentation, to check the technical solution in process to construct a solar power plants participantly, people from local community and object. And in future, as usual, they can repeat this experience in other projects, and it's work very well. And I agree with Gregor, the people who have and has energy management system, it's a better partnership community because they understand it all and they can very fast and with good quality provided documentation, proposal or vision in many project or strategic decision in electricity system or provided some automatically system or something like that.
Thank you very much. I see two questions in the chat. First, to you, Gregor, about Düsseldorf. Could you say more about that? And the next question, I would go to Alexander or you, Dmytro, about state of affairs in private residential houses and if it's possible for owner associations to manage relevant critical investments into efficiency of their residential blocks. So first to you, Gregor.
Yes, thank you very much for the question. No, I'm not familiar with Düsseldorf. I just checked it and Googled it. It seems to me like a rather small, self-made, independent battery storage system, if I'm seeing it from the first side, but I'm not aware of it. In general, it seems to be for me like a kind of independent off-grid system, if I see it correctly. So that's not in the moment something off-grid. It should be still like on-grid or what we support. And it's more like then for military actions maybe needed, as I understood also from the little research I did. But yeah, I'm not aware of it, so I can't tell more. Sorry for that. But maybe the colleagues know more about it.
Very short, if maybe like some participants, I know, maybe from Düsseldorf, from other companies or organizations want to reach to us. We have our contacts and our LinkedIn profiles also in the group of platform Recovery Ukraine. So please feel free to reach out. And the next question about private residential houses. Who want to answer to that? Yeah, Alexander, please.
Yeah, I think Dmytro will add to my answer, but shortly, yes. That OSBB it named in Ukrainian version of Association of House Owners and Multi-Apartment Buildings. We have a lot of examples where people do some PV panels, battery storages, defend their energy resilience and build some generation capacity. That it's very different. We have a lot of examples and absolutely an option which is executed in many cases.
Thank you, Alexander.
Yeah.
Dmytro, you want to add?
Nothing very important. Only maybe more technical details, something like that. If something some people interested, please contact with me and I answer more about that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for your inputs and thank you for this discussion. I think it's very important. It was, for me, like one of the most important things I heard today was it's impossible to prepare for the next winter. Think about like the next or like later, but it has to be really systematic approach, really sustainable, very important to empower Ukrainian communities to develop their own energy plans and empower them and teach them and show them to realize projects that then they can repeat, they can realize more in order to have like really good solutions in order to prove that at least critical infrastructure like schools, hospitals, but also kindergartens. I think it's very important. It's actually not a critical infrastructure in Ukraine by law, but very important as well that parents can actually go to work. So important to think like in ahead. So thank you for this discussion, and thank you also to you, Marta, and to Platform Recovery Ukraine that we could have this conversation. So over to you.
Thank you, Natalia, a lot for the moderation, and thanks for interesting and important discussion.